Hello, good morning, good afternoon, evening to you out there, wherever you are in the world. This is Samuel and I can welcome you to this channel. So this is our short series, and we've had up to 4 lessons. Should be our fifth lessons on swords so far. So we've looked at swords generally, look at the rules of swords, look at the single swords form, look at the basic form. So in this lesson, we'll be looking at conjugate swords. So basically, what are conjugate swords? But before we go on to conjugate swords, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and do what? Hit the subscribe button. That is a simple task to do. Just hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well, because you are actually going to enjoy this lesson. And at the end of the day, be ready to drop your comments. Then click on the bell icon so that you always be notified whenever we upload a new video, and set it to all. So what are conjugate swords? Conjugate swords two swords are said to be conjugate of each other if they give rise to a rational expression, if they give rise to a rational number when they are multiplied together. So two swords are said to be what? To be conjugate if they give rise to a rational number when they are multiplied together. We know that A plus B times A minus B gives rise to A square minus B square. You don't need to expand this thing completely, because at the end of the day, if you expand, you are going to have term 1, term 2, term 1, term 2, term 3, and term 4. Term 2 and term 3 will cancel themselves out, so you're going to be left with term 1, term 4. So when expanding something like of this nature, just go ahead and multiply these two together, and you arrive at A times A square, plus B times minus B square. So this also applies to sword. Let's assume you have a sword A, root A plus root B, and then you multiply it by root A minus root B. So you're going to have root A times root A. Root A times root A will give you A. When you multiply a sword by itself, the sword disappears. So plus times minus gives you minus. Root B times root B gives you B. So right now, we have a rational number right now. This is now a rational number. These were irrationals. This is irrational. Root A is irrational. Root B is irrational. But now, when we multiply root A plus root B by root A minus root B, it gives you an irrational number. So this is actually the irrational. This is actually the conjugate sword of this one. The conjugate sword of root A plus root B is root A minus root B, as it gives rise to an irrational number when multiplied together. So the conjugate sword is just for you to change the sign at the center. How do you arrive at the conjugate sword? Let's assume that you have root A plus B. The conjugate sword of this one is just going to be root A minus B. This is the conjugate sword. So just changing the sign at the center gives you the conjugate. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples right now. So write down the conjugate of these swords, of each of the following swords expression. Write down the conjugate. For the first one, we have root 3 minus root 2. Like I said, the conjugate just change the sign in between the swords. and you get a conjugate. So the conjugate of this is going to be root 3 plus root 2. This is the conjugate of this. The conjugate of 3 root 3 plus 2 root 5 is going to be 3 root 3 minus 2 root 5. Just change the sign at the center. The conjugate of this one is going to be 5 root 2 plus 6 root 5. While the conjugate of the last one there is going to be 2 minus 3 root 3. So there's nothing difficult about writing conjugate of a sodic expression. It's just for you to change the sign that separates the terms and you will arrive at the conjugate. So we're going to move on right now. So simplify this expression. We have a sword multiplied by its conjugate. So we want to simplify. To simplify is just a question of multiplying this and this and minus 1 and plus 1 together. So we have 3 times 3 is what? 9. So we have 3 root 2 times 3 root 2. 3 times 3 gives us 9. Root 2 times root 2 is going to give us 2. Okay? Root 2 times root 2 is equals to 2. When a root is multiplying a root, that root sign will disappear. You have a number. Okay? So 3 times 3 is 9. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. So at the end of the day, this gives us 18. So 3 root 2 times 3 root 2 lands us on 18. Then minus 1 times plus 1 gives us minus 1. Minus times minus, minus. 1 times 1, 1. So 18 minus 1 is 17. That's the final answer. That's the final answer there. So we started from an irrational expression and we ended up in a rational number. These are irrational numbers. We started from a rational number. We multiply by the conjugate, and at the end of the day, we have a rational number. So over here, we have 7 root 2 plus root 3 multiplied by its conjugate. So 7 times, we have, this is going to multiply this, plus times minus, then root 3 times root 3. So we have 7 root 2 times 7 root 2. 7 times 7, we have 7 times 7 and root 2 times root 2. 7 times 7 is 49. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. So 2 times 49 will give us 98. So 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 2, because 2 times 2 is 2, gives us 98. So the answer is 98 for these two. Then plus times minus, minus. Root 3 times root 3 gives us 3. 98 minus 3 gives us 95. Okay. So it's as easy as that. So let me give you practice exercise based on this. So it's as easy as this, and I believe you have your pen and your paper and you are working alongside. There's nothing difficult. Let me drop the practice exercise. So you can actually use this as your practice exercise. 1, 2, 3. Just get a pen and paper and try them out. If you have any question, if you have any problem, anyway, just drop it in the comment section. So right now we've come to the end of this lesson. So join us in the next lesson. In the next lesson we'll be looking at rationalizing the denominator. Rationalizing the denominator. That will be the next lesson on our Surds series. We will look at how we can actually rationalize the denominator. So thank you for joining us, and if you know you've not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. In case you need a one-on-one lesson, online lesson, private lesson, whether online or offline, you can chat me up on WhatsApp on +234 803829 5185. Thank you and bye. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you drop a comment, make sure you click on the bell icon and set it to all, so that you always be notified whenever we upload a new video, and share the video with others. Thank you and bye.